Let's start with something you've probably never heard from your friends, your parents, or even dating coaches. Most men are doing attraction completely backwards. You've been told to chase, to prove yourself, to convince a woman you're worth her time. You've been told to buy her gifts, send her good morning texts, compliment her every picture, and buy extra nice until she magically likes you. But here's the brutal reality. The more you chase, the more you repel. It's not because women are mean or complicated. It's because human nature doesn't work the way you think it does. We don't value what's easily given to us. We value what we have. And when it comes to attraction, chasing kills mystery. And mystery is the oxygen of desire. Now I can almost hear the objections. So are you saying I should ignore women, pretend I don't like them? No, that's not the point. This isn't about playing childish games. It's about understanding psychological triggers that make attraction unavoidable, even for women who at first don't seem interested. The truth is, women don't fall for you just because you're nice. They become obsessed when they feel something different around you, something they can't quite explain. It's not about looks, money, or a six-pack, though those can help. It's about how you make her feel about herself when she's around you. And here's the controversial part. If you can make her feel those emotions, she will start chasing you. Sometimes harder than you could ever chase her. The myth that keeps men. Single society has sold men a dangerous lie. If you like her, just tell her, be straightforward. Show her how much you care and she eventually realizes you're the one. That sounds noble, but in the real world it often fails miserably. Why? Because attraction is not a job interview. You don't apply for her love with a resume of good deeds. You ignite attraction by creating an environment where she feels curiosity, excitement, and a sense of unpredictability. In fact, sometimes the man she didn't think about at first becomes the one she can't stop thinking about because he knew how to flip the script, reversing the roles. When you chase, you put her in the driver's seat. She gets to decide when to reply, whether to give you attention and how much of herself to invest. You're constantly reacting to her, and she's constantly evaluating you. But when you understand how to make her chase, everything changes. She starts wondering what you're doing, why you run it like the others, and whether she's good enough for you. She invests. She sends the first text. She tries to get your attention. This isn't manipulation. It's about shifting the natural balance of attraction in your favor. Why nice guys get ignored and the confident ones don't. Here's the thing. Being nice is a good quality. But if nice is your main strategy for attraction, it will almost always fail. Women are not wired to chase nice. They are wired to chase interesting. They're drawn to the man who has his own life, his own standards, and his own sense of purpose. Someone who is nice but also scarce in the right way. Think about it. The most expensive Edians aren't valuable because they're shinny. They're valuable because they're rare. If you're always available, always texting, always bending over backwards, you become common. And common never makes people chase. The emotional hook. Here's a secret very few men understand. Women often chase not the man himself, but the feeling they get when they're around him. If you can create a sense of challenge, unpredictability, and emotional high points, you become unforgettable. This is why some women can fall for a man they initially overlooked because he made her feel alive, curious, and slightly uncertain. That uncertainty, it's not a weakness. It's the hook. What you're about to learn in this video, I'm going to break down 5 powerful shifts that will make women chase you. Even if right now you feel invisible to them. These are not cheap tricks or manipulative tactics. They are rhythmless principles rooted in psychology and human behavior. And here's the most important part. You don't have to become so mean you're not. You don't need to fake confidence or pretend to be a bad boy. You just need to stop doing the things that kill attraction instantly and start doing the things that trigger it naturally. Stop chasing. Start standing out. If there's one thing that will instantly change how women see you, it's this. Stop acting like every interaction with her is a race to win her over. The truth is, most men don't even realize they're chasing. They think they're just being nice or showing interest. But in reality, they're constantly putting themselves in a position where they're trying to impress, trying to get noticed, trying to prove they're worth it. The problem with chasing is simple. It puts all the power in her hands. You become the pursuer and she becomes the prize. And since that dynamic is set, it's very hard to reverse. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Women don't remember the guy who is always available, always complimenting, and always following her around. They remember the one who made an impression without begging for attention. Standing out is not about being louder, richer, or better looking than other men. It's about creating a presence that's different. When you stand out, you become a mystery. In Hermond, she can't figure you out instantly, and that's exactly what makes her curious, why chasing fails every time. Chasing signals one thing loud and clear: you need her approval. And the moment someone feels like you need them more than they need you, the attraction starts to fade. Think about it. If you're constantly calling, texting, answering to get her attention, you're telling her without words that she's the center of your world. That might sound romantic in movies, but in reality, it removes all excitement. There's no tension, no wondering, no anticipation. She already knows she's got you, so there's nothing left to earn. And here's the kicker. When you stop chasing, you're not just pulling away. You're showing her that your life is already full, interesting, and exciting with her. That's when she starts thinking, why is he not like the others? Why isn't he chasing me? That's when you'll flip the script. How to stand out without trying too hard. Standing out isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about showing qualities most men hide. Things like being confident in your decisions without needing her agreement. Talking about your passions without trying to see if she's impressed. Holding your ground in conversation instead of always agreeing. Having a life outside of dating and making that clear through your actions. When you stop acting like every move is about getting her approval, you free yourself from the try-hard energy that pushes women away. The subtle power of being different. Imagine this. You're at a gathering and a woman you find attractive walks in. Most men will turn their bodies towards her. Try to make eye contact or throw out compliments. You stay engaged in your own conversation. You laugh with your friends. You're relaxed and unbothered. When she eventually interacts with you, you're warm and polite, but you don't break your flow or start acting like she's the most important person in the room. That subtle difference is what stands out. It sends a silent message: I'm not desperate for your attention, I'm living my life. And if we connect, great. If not, I'm still good. That mindset is magnetic, a real-world illustration. There was a guy named David who had been interested in a woman from his gym for months. At first, Hef allowed the common script, smiling every time. She walked in, rushing to open the door for her, striking up small talk every chance he got. She was polite but distant. One day, David decided to stop chasing. He still greeted her when he crossed paths, but instead of hanging around waiting for her attention, he focused on his workouts, talked with other people, and carried himself with ease. After a few weeks, something interesting happened. She started walking over to him. She asked questions about his workout, joked with him, and even lingered after her own routine was done. Nothing about his appearance had changed. The only thing that changed was his energy. He went from chasing to simply being himself and living his life. That shift made him stand out. Why this works. When you stop chasing, you create space. Space for curiosity. Space for her to wonder. Space for her to invest. You stop feeding her all your energy and start directing that energy back into yourself. And the moment she senses that you're not waiting around for her approval, you become a challenge. Humans are wired to value what's not immediately available. By not throwing yourself at her, you force her to experience what it's like to not have your constant attention. That's when feedables turn. The mindset shift. Yunid, you can't fake this. Women can tell when a man is pretending not to carry while secretly still desperate for her attention. The key is to genuinely shift your mindset from, I hope she likes me, to, I'm here to live my best life. And if she's part of that, great. If not, I'm still winning. That doesn't mean being cold or rude. It means buying friendly without over-investing. Being respectful without overgiving, and most importantly, being confident without her approval as the foundation for your self-worth. Bottom line, the moment you stop chasing, you free yourself from the exhausting cycle of trying to win some Ian over. And when you focus on standing out instead by being different, confident, and self-assured, you flip the traction dynamic completely. That's when she starts noticing you, thinking about you, and yes, summertime Evan chasing you. Withdraw validation to create value. If you've ever wondered why some men seem to get women's attention without even trying hairson of their secrets, they don't hand out unlimited validation. Validation, compliments, approval, constant reassurance feels good to give. Y'all think you're being kind, uplifting, and showing interest. But here's the harsh truth. Too much validation kills attraction. Why? Because anything that is freely available to everyone loses its value. Think about it. If you give a woman non-stop praise, attention, and approval, from the first moment you meet her, you're sending a silent message. I value you more than myself, and I'll keep proving it. That might sound romantic in movies, but in reality, it puts you in a lower position. You're no longer an equal, you're a fan. Why? Constant validation pushes her away. Women are used to being validated. In the modern world, they receive attention from men daily, online, in person, sometimes without even speaking a word. This constant stream of validation means that another "you're so beautiful" or "you're amazing" doesn't stand out. It blends into the noise. And here's the uncomfortable part. When you verba validate, she doesn't feel special. She feels certain. She knows you're hooked. And when there's no mystery left, there's no chase. The more predictable your approval, the less she values it. The power of withdrawing validation. Withdrawing validation doesn't mean becoming cold, arrogant, or disrespectful. It means saving your praise for moments when it truly matters, when it's earned, not when it's expected. Instead of constantly pointing out how attractive she is, you let her feel it through how you carry yourself, how you interact, and how you respond. When you do compliment her, it lands at her because it's rare and genuine. This creates a dynamic where your approval has weight. She knows it's not something you hand out to everyone. It's something she has to earn. How to do it naturally. Here's what withdrawing validation looks like in action. You don't instantly like every post she makes online. You don't reply to every text within seconds like your phone is on standby for her. You listen to her without immediately agreeing with everything she says, just to be polite. You give compliments based on her actions, personality, or unique qualities, not just her looks. By doing this, you stop being another voice in the crowd telling her how perfect she is. You become the one person whose approval actually means something, a real-life illustration. Ethan worked in an office with a woman who seemed to draw attention from every man there. She got compliments daily, from her clothes to her smile to how amazing she was at her job. Ethan liked her too, but instead of adding to Theckerus, he took a different approach. He was friendly and respectful, but hadn't shower her with approval. When she wore something new, he didn't comment unless it was genuine different and caught his attention. When she contributed in meetings, he acknowledged her ideas without averting them. At first, she barely noticed him, but over time she started seeking his reactions. She'd glance at him after making a joke to see if hellawed. She'd ask his opinion more often. Why? Because his validation wasn't automatic. She had to work for it. When she finally did receive a genuine compliment from him, it meant more than a dozen. From the others, that's the power of value. Why this works so well? Psychology has a simpler rule. Scarcity increases value. The less something is available, the more people want it. When your validation is rare, it becomes a form of currency, something she can't get just by existing. Instead of feeling certain that she has you, she starts wondering what it takes to earn your approval. This curiosity is powerful. It makes her think about you on you're not around, and it motivates her to invest in the interaction. The mindset behind it. This shift only works if it's genuine. You can't pretend to be uninterested while secretly desperate for her attention. That comes off as fake and even manipulative. The goal isn't to hold back validation as a trick. It's to genuinely recognize that your attention is valuable and you don't give it to everyone without reason. When you believe that, you stop overdriven naturally. You compliment when it's deserved. You engage when it's meaningful. And you're comfortable letting silence do the talking. Sometimes show this changes the game when you stop over-validating. She starts noticing you more because you're not like the others. Your approval becomes rare and valuable. You maintain equality in the dynamic instead of putting her on a pedestal. You naturally become more confident because you're no longer chasing approval yourself. And here's the most important part. You stop. Being predictable, predictability kills attraction. By removing the expectation fat, you'll constantly boost her ego. You create space for tension, curiosity, and genuine connection to grow. Bottom line, when you withdraw constant validation, you're not being unkind, you're being smart. You're reminding her that your approval isn't free, it's earned, and when it's earned, it's worth chasing. Be scarce by living your own life. One of the biggest mistakes men make in dating is revolving their entire schedule around a woman, especially once they're just getting to know. It's subtle at first. You cancel plans with friends because she might be free later. You keep checking your phone in case she texts. You stop focusing on your hobby as bows. You're waiting to see if she wants to hang out. At first, it feels like dedication. But to her, it sends a different message. You have nothing better going on than her. And here's the truth. Nobody is drawn to someone who's always available because constant availability signals you're not being sought. After anywhere else, scarcity creates demand. We value what is limited. Whether it's a rare car, a sold-out concert, or the last slice of fizza at the table, scarcity makes things more desirable. The same applies to people. When you're constantly around texting, all day and always ready to meet, there's no sense of urgency to connect with you. She knows you'll be there tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. There's no mystery, no excitement, no reason for her to prioritize you. But when your life is full, when you have commitments, passions, and responsibilities, you naturally become less available. And that scarcity makes every moment with you more valuable. The trap of over-availability, you've probably experienced this before. You meet someone you like, and suddenly you're ready to rearrange your entire life for them. You answer every text immediately. You clear your evenings just in case they want to hang out. You start prioritizing their schedule over yours. It feels like the right thing to do, showing interest, showing that you're reliable. But over time, it becomes predictable. And predictable pull don't create strong emotional pull. When she knows exactly when and how you'll respond, there's nothing to anticipate. Anticipation is what fuels attraction. Living your own life first, being scarce isn't about ignoring her or playing hard to get. It's about actualizing hard to get because your life is already meaningful. It's about working on your goals without needing her validation, spending time with friends and family, investing in hobbies and passions that bring you joy, taking care of your physical and mental health. When these things are your priority, your time automatically becomes more valuable. You're no longer free 24/7 and that forces her to fit into your world instead of you constantly trying to fit into hers. The emotional impact on her when you live your life and make time for her without giving up everything else, it sends a silent but powerful message. You are important to me, but you are not my entire world. That message creates balance. It makes her feel like she's joining an exciting full life, not becoming the only exciting thing in it. And deep down, that's far more attractive. It also shifts the dynamic. Instead of you wondering whether she's going to text or call, she starts wondering when she gets to see you again. You go from chasing to being pursued without forcing it. The confidence that comes from scarcity. Scarcity isn't just about how she sees you, it's also about how you see yourself. When you prioritize your own life, you naturally start valuing yourself more. Your confidence grows because you're not relying on her attention for your self-worth. You walk into conversations knowing you bring something to the table because your life is already fulfilling. You're not waiting for her to give it meaning, you already have that. And that's the kind of energy people gravitate toward. Bottom line, being scarce by living your own life is not about playing games. It's about having a life worth living whether she's in it or not. When you do that, you stop being another guy trying to get her attention, and you become the man whose attention she wants to earn. Spark curiosity with unpredictable const. Let's be real. Most men are predictable. You meet a woman you're interested in, and suddenly you're on autopilot. Compliment her, agree with everything she says, laugh at every joke, send a good morning text every day without fail. It's a routine so many men fall into without thinking. And here's the truth you need to hear. Predictable behavior kills curiosity. If she already knows exactly what you're going to say, how you're going to react, and when you're going to text, there's nothing left for her to discover about you. And without that sense of discovery, attraction fizzles fast. Confidence is not just being loud. A lot of men think confidence means being the loudest in the room, bragging about achievements, or acting like they didn't care. That's not confidence. That's insecurity in disguise. Real confidence is calm. It's the ability to be yourself without constantly needing approval. It's standing by your opinion, even if she disagrees. It's not rushing to fill every silence with words just to avoid awkwardness. But here's where Mossmen fail. They combine confidence with predictability. They might be sure of themselves, but they show up in the same way every time. She knows what's coming before it happens, and that kills any excitement unpredictability creates. Emotional pull. Think about the last time you watched a movie where you didn't know what would happen next. You were glued to the screen, right? That's how human attention works. We are drawn to the unknown. If every interaction with you feels scripted, she won't be curious about the next one. But if sometimes you're light and playful, sometimes deepened, serious, sometimes you end the conversation first, sometimes you let it trend longer, she can't quite predict you. And that unpredictability makes her want to know more. Men need to wake up. Too many men give away all their mystery in the first week. They overshare their entire life story, overextend, overexplain, and overpursue. By day 3, she knows everything about you, and there's no room for imagination. Wake up. If you want a woman to keep thinking about you, stop putting every card on the table at once. Let her wonder, let her ask questions. Let her earn the deeper parts off you over time. You don't have to act mysterious. You just have to stop rushing to hand over every detail. Keep some things for later. Leave some conversations on a cliffhanger. An 8x exchange when it's still good instead of dragging it on until it dies. The sweet spot between confidence and curiosity. Confidence without unpredictability can become boring. Unpredictability without confidence can feel unstable. You need both. When you're confident, she feels secure around you. When you're unpredictable, she feels intrigued. That combination is powerful. It keeps her emotionally engaged without making her feel like you're playing games. It's about balance. She knows you're reliable, but she also knows she can't quite predict your next move, and that keeps her invested. Advice moving forward. If you're serious about making women chase you, stop being the man who's easy to figure out. You're not a TV rerun. She shouldn't know the script by heart. Hold your ground in conversations. Switch up your energy from time to time. Don't reveal everything at once. Be confident in auto, walk away from attention instead of clinging to it. You want her to think, I like him, but I can't quite figure him out. That thought alone is what keeps her coming back for more. Bottom line, predictability is the enemy of desire. Combine confidence with a touch of unpredictability and you become the man she can't stop thinking about. Flipped investment. Let her show interest. First, most men are stuck in a one-sided game. They do all the calling, all the texting, all the planning, all the proving, and after all that effort, they're left wondering why she still seems distant. Here's the reality you need to accept. When one person is doing all the investing, the other person has no reason to step up. If you're always one initiating, always making yourself available, and always trying to impress, you're teaching her that she doesn't need to put in any effort. You'll be there no matter what. Why she needs to invest attraction isn't just about how much she likes you. It's about how much she's willing to put into you. When a woman invests her time, energy, and attention into you, she values you more. Think about it. If you buy something expensive, you take better care of it. Why? Because you had to give us something up to get it. Human nature works the same way in relationships. If she's putting effort into you, she's less likely to take you for granted. How to flip the dynamic. The simplest way to flip the investment is to stop doing all the work. If you're always texting first, pause and see if she reaches out. If you're always planning dates, wait for her to suggest something. If you're always giving attention, let her have space to miss it. This doesn't mean you suddenly disappear or ignore her. It means you create a balanced exchange, you show interest, but you also allow her to meet you halfway, the shift in her mind. When she realizes you're not going to carry 100% of the interaction, something changes. She starts asking herself, why hasn't he texted yet? Is he busy? Does he still like me? That curiosity pushes her toked. She starts initiating, suggesting plans, and putting effort into keeping your attention. The game is no longer one-sided. You're both contributing. Bottom line, stop training women to expect all the investment from you. Give her the chance to put effort into you and watch how quickly the dynamic shifts in your favor. When she's chasing, you're no longer proving your worth, she's proving hers. We've gone through 5 principles. Stop chasing. Withdraw constant validation. Be scarce, be living your own life. Spark curiosity with unpredictable confidence. And flip investment so she shows interest first. If you apply these, you'll see a shift not just in how women respond to you, but in how you feel about yourself. But before you walk away thinking you've just learned a few dating tips, let me hit you with something most men won't to hear. If you have to convince a woman to like you, you've already lost. That's the controversial truth. And it stings because so many men are stuck in that mindset. They believe that if they just try hard enough, say the right things, and give enough attention, she eventually come around. But in reality, the more you chase, the less values you. This is where most men fail. Not because they're bad people or unattractive, but because they are reoperating on a false belief that attraction can be earned through persistence. In reality, attraction is sparked, not negotiated. You can enhance it, but you can't beg for it. Why? This changes everything. When you understand this, you stop trying to be the man shoo-ins and start becoming the man who naturally attracts the right women. You stop seeing yourself as the applicant for her attention and start seeing yourself as the prize worth pursuing. You stop measuring your value by her reactions and you start living in a way that makes you magnetic without adventuring. That's the real shift. You're moving now. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. This is going to require a mindset change. It's going to feel uncomfortable at first, because you've probably been conditioned to do the opposite of everything I've just taught you. But if you want results, you have to break the cycle. And I want to hear from you. Have you ever chased a woman so much that she lost interest? Have you ever stopped chasing and suddenly noticed a compliment in how she acted? Share your experiences in the comments. I read them, I respond to them, and I connect with as many of you as I can. Your story might just help another man wake up and see the truth. Final word, here's thieving. Women aren't the enemy. And this isn't about winning some battle of the sexes. It's about balance, respect, and self-worth. When you hold your value, you naturally attract people who recognize it. If you take only one thing from this video, let it be this. You're in it here to prove you're good enough for her. You're here to decide if she's good enough for you. That shift changes everything. So go out there, stop chasing,